Hi everyone, Tracy from Flotsam and Jetsam Studio here. I'm going to do a thrift shop or op shop haul for you today. I spent about 3 weeks down on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland in Australia recently, and I did quite a bit of op shopping while I was there, so I'm going to share my goodies with you. I'm going to use the hashtags hashtag #OpShopCrafter and hashtag Thrifty Thursday. So I'll share the links to those below. So let's get started. I've got a fair bit of stuff to share, so let's get started. I thought I would start with the very few doilies that I found. It was a bit light on for doilies, or they were a bit expensive in some places. It's very unusual for me to spend more than about $1 on doilies. So I found these ones. I love the colour of this one, and the pinky red, a raspberry sort of colour of these flowers I thought was pretty as well. This one, I like the heart shape. That's a bit unusual. It's in a bit tatty condition, but that's fine because that gives me permission to cut it up. So a few doilies found, but I did have a really good score with fabrics while I was there. This was just a handful of little offcuts and bits and pieces. They've all got a little bit of a vintage feel to them, but I think that this one is the only one that might actually be truly vintage. It's obviously been cut off the bottom of a skirt or a curtain or something, but I really liked those. And this one, so I got all of those in one shop. Cost me next to nothing, which was great. This is another one that has a bit of a vintage feel. This one could actually be vintage, but I'm not really sure. And I've got a couple of small pieces of, I think that's a silk fabric, and there were some other ones, this one and a lovely bright pink shot with gold. This one kind of reminds me of the fabric that my 1989 school formal dress was made out of. I had one with this really vivid pink, a little bit darker pink than that, shot with purple, and that really reminds me of that. It was a lovely sort of a raw silk type of fabric. This one's just a green. Actually, it looks a little bit blue on the screen, but it's quite a nice kind of greeny colour with the polka dots. This is a bit of a cottony, almost feels a little bit linen-y, that fabric, and it's a really hot pink. This one, a nice floral. These are all quite small pieces. Some of them might be, a metre or so, but only small offcuts. This lovely floral as well. So those ones were the small pieces that I found. The rest of them are actually quite good sizes. So I recently bought myself a sewing machine for the first time. I've always had hand-me-down sewing machines, so I've just bought myself a new one, and I'm looking forward to getting sewing. So I've been specifically looking for fabrics. So I found this one. Reminds me a little bit of ticking, of the mattress ticking. It's got that sort of stripy look. It's not ticking, but it reminded me of that. This one is quite a heavy knit fabric, and again it looks a lot more blue on the screen, but it's a really lovely, almost a jade, something between a jade and an emerald green with the blue design on it, and it's quite a decent size piece of stretchy fabric, so I'll certainly be able to make something out of that. This one is, it feels quite natural fibers, but I don't know what it actually is. It's interesting actually because the selvage was kind of in the wrong place. It was a strange piece, strange shaped piece, but I like the subtle design. Now I had quite a good haul from the Caloundra Salvos store. I don't want to let this pile get too high, so I'll just get rid of these ones. I found heaps of fabric on one day. So this one I really like, the algae and coral design on this, and there were two quite decent sized pieces. It's obviously a light upholstery or curtain fabric, but you know, you could use it for anything. I could quite happily make a skirt out of that or something. And then the leftovers would make lovely journal covers. This is a nice cottony, just a pale blue, greyish blue colour. And this one is a nice mauve. It's probably a bit darker than mauve, but two pieces, and they're quite decent sized pieces as well, so they'll be good for something. Not quite sure yet what. The other thing I found at this store was a set of teal curtains, really good condition, 5 quite large curtains, and they were only $4 each. So I worked out those particular curtains are stocked at Spotlight, and brand new and at full price they would have cost nearly $1,000, and I got them for $20. I was very happy with that. These ones are actually things that I'm going to use for different purposes. So this bundle of fabric here was obviously made up into curtains. You can see it's crinkly at the top where the rod pocket was. But I think it's actually just dress fabric. It's still got the design name on the selvage there. But it's a really interesting combination of colours. It's quite a mustardy background with peach and almost a maroon colour, and the dark greens as well. So I thought that was interesting, and it's a nice light cotton fabric. So I'm actually going to just make a dress or something out of that, I think. And the next few are actually single bed quilt covers, and you can find some nice designs in OpShop. You get a lot of fabric for not much money. I think these ones were only about $6 each, so you get quite a bit of fabric for that. This one's a bit polyestery feeling. It's a real sort of teal or almost a peacock blue, really, with palm trees, and it is a bit polyestery feeling, but you know, for $6 for that much fabric, I'm okay with making something out of that. It's a lovely colour. This one, it's kind of a toile, I think that's how you pronounce it, fabric. I would have loved this as a quilt cover. If it had have been in a queen size, I probably would have just put it on my bed. But it's got a little bit of fading to it, but the design is just so beautiful. And this is the main fabric, and then the reverse is this smaller design. So again, a lot of really pretty fabric there for $6. And this one is quite cute. It has quite a few animals on it. There's some deer and some little bunnies. I think there were some birds as well. Oh yeah, there's a bird. So there's some animals on it, but there's also a lot of flowers, and I love the combination of colours. The dusty pinks and purples and greens really appeal to me, so I thought I would grab that. The reverse side is that pink design, so that's quite pretty as well. So between sewing and junk journaling, I'm sure I'll be able to get some really good use out of all of those fabrics. So also on the fabrics, I went to one of the tip shops. So most of the op shops I went to were your standard op shops, things like Salvos and Vinnie's. There's quite a lot of op shops on the Sunshine Coast, but I also went to the tip shop at the Butterham Tip. So these are things I picked up there to use as fabric. This one is a scarf, but it's a really nice loose weave sort of fabric. Nice bright colours. So I'll be able to use that for something. And these ones are all men's shirts, again from the tip shop, so they cost next to nothing. They're all quite large sized shirts as well. I think this one's a 4XL XLT. I don't know what the T stands for, but I like a paisley. So this one has quite a bit of fabric in it, and it's nice cotton fabric, and it's in pretty good condition. I don't know anyone who this shirt would fit, so I'm just going to salvage the fabric from it, undo the seams, undo the darts. I might be able to use some of the seams for page edging or something like that. Where's the pocket? What does that look like? Oh, maybe there's no pocket. No, it doesn't look like there's a pocket, but that's okay. There's some navy buttons, so I'll be able to salvage a fair bit of that one. And again, this one is I think it's actually the same brand, so it's probably come from the same person, and it's a paisley as well, but it's dark print on the dark cotton. It does have a bit of damage to it, but I'll still be able to salvage enough to do something with it. And this one is it's actually just a short sleeve shirt, so not quite as much fabric, but I really like the colours in the check. And this one's got a cool pocket that I might be able to use for something. What are the buttons like? Oh, just white buttons. Nothing very exciting about the buttons, but I liked that fabric. I like the colours. So also from the tip shop, and I think this was a bit of a score, they had a big box of pianola rolls. So I grabbed half a dozen of those. There weren't many. I always look through and try to find songs that I know. There's not a lot that I know, to be honest. Although this is actually quite a large size roll, and it's from Aida, so at least knew that one. But I like the old yellowed paper as a junk journaler. We're all the same, aren't we? We love the old patina. I like the seals and the patterns on these as well. Some of them have just a very plain introduction, but some of them are quite decorative. So I just went through and chose half a dozen that I particularly liked the look of. So that one's called Big Ben March. In My Dream Garden. I thought because some of them have the lyrics actually written to the side as well when you get through. So on here, so I thought that there might be some interesting words there that would be good for using in a journal. I don't know the actual song. Most of these are so old, they're well out of my era. What's this one? Casablanca. Oh no, Casabianca. I thought it said Casablanca for a second then, but Casabianca. And If I Might Come to You. And I'm Just Mad About You. That one sounds like a good one too. So I was pretty excited when I saw those. I do have a few music pianola rolls that I've picked up in the past, but that was a good addition to my stash. As was this little handful of wooden rulers. I like the old wooden rulers. They've got a good patina. Look how this one's pretty old. It's been written on. Previous owner's name was Jill by the look of it. But these obviously date from back when inches were still kind of being used. Most of them have centimetres and inches. Oh no, that one's just centimetres. That's a newer one. So I don't know whether I'll use them in... See, the problem I have with wooden rulers is that I really like the idea of using them in junk journals or other art projects, but I also just like the look of them. So I feel like I'm just a wooden ruler collector now. Oh, we'll see. We'll see what I do with them. Let's see, what else have I got here? I found some patterns, some sewing patterns. These are actually ones that I'll be able to use actually for sewing because, well, I went through the ones that I liked, the styles, but most of the modern patterns actually have a range of sizes as well, which is really good. So that one's US 10 to 22, this one's US 10 to 18, you know, so I should be able to actually use these, even if I need to adjust the pattern sizes a little bit. I should be able to do that. So I bought those ones to actually use as patterns, but I did actually have quite good luck with some vintage stuff as well. So this was part of my good salvos score in Caloundra. They had these bags, they were all taped up, and it was like a bit of a lucky dip. I didn't really know what was going to be in the bag. But I quite like this one. So we have some lingerie. Doesn't have a date on it. Possibly, but I can't see it quickly. Some lovely dress patterns. Some of the old ones don't really have easily found years. So if I look long enough, I'll probably find it. Simplicity. Pajamas. Some kids patterns. They're kind of cute. This is a lovely one. Nice dress pattern. So I was pretty happy with that, and it also came with these two books as well on dressmaking. The Singer one appealed to me because the machine I've just bought is a Singer, so I thought that was appropriate. But I love the photos. Oh, not the photos. They're not photos. They're drawings. But very, very cool to find that. And then this one, it's a Women's Weekly publication that would have come with the magazine. And again, it's got some great old images and lessons in how to actually sew, which is fantastic. Oops. Look at the old iron. And a lot of these products are actually still around, the brands, which is amazing these days. My Singer doesn't look like that. So I was very happy with that as a bit of a mystery grab bag. And one of the other op shops I went to had a lot of vintage patterns in their stash, and I think I've cleared them out because they were actually pretty cheap. So there's a few men's patterns. This one's all falling apart, which is why it's in the plastic bag. Safari suit. My dad got married in a short-sleeved safari suit, baby blue I think it was. Some lovely sort of 70s era. I think they're 70s. They look 70s to me. That one's not in very good condition either, but oh, it's a maternity dress. Ooh, more dapper men's suits. Gotta love the check suit. Wedding dress. There's a few kids ones in the mix as well. Oh, some beach wear. Nice sundress. Oh, here's a lovely kids one. That looks almost modern. Look how yellow she is. That looks like she's been tanning with tanning lotion. This could be the Brady Bunch. So a really good mix of patterns there, lots of different ages in there. And this is something else that I feel like I'm almost a collector of now, is old knitting patterns. Now every time I buy these, the lady at the counter, it's invariably a lady, asks me, oh, are you a knitter? No, I can't knit. I just really like old stuff like this. So, and I've got so many of them now that I think it's technically a collection. So I don't know. I don't know if I can use them in junk journaling now, or if I have to just add them to my collection. This one's falling apart, but it's got some very cute pictures in it. This one's in pretty bad condition as well, but how cute. Very cute photos. More Peyton's ones. This one's for tiny tots from 6 months to 2 years. Oh, booties. My nana made everyone squillions of knitted booties. More kids ones. These are a bit newer. Usually the only coloured images are the ones on the covers, but the black and white ones are pretty cute too. I like that one. And you get some men's ones as well. Like, men's fashion shots are not as common, not as easy to come by as women's. So these are a good source of men's fashion shots, fashion photos. Interesting that he's smoking a cigarette on the cover. That's not something that you would see these days. I love the way they pose in these. It's very, some of them are very funny. Oh, here's another smoker. Oh, got his pipe. Some turtlenecks. Oh, there's some good eyeliner and hairdos. Sometimes when you see these in the op shops, they're asking several dollars, you know, up to $5 for them. But I frequently pick them up for 25 or 50 cents each. When I see them for that price, I always grab them. So you can see I've got quite the haul here. These ones are a bit newer. I think we're up to the 80s with these ones. This one's definitely got to be 80s. Oh, ponchos. Actually, no, maybe it is 70s. Nice big purple one. Yeah, I think that's definitely 70s. So that's a good addition to my collection. I found this craft book as well, just doing nail and string art. I've got a couple of these books. I don't know that I would ever actually make one. You never know. I like the idea of it, but I just like these old books, you know. I like to look at the pictures of how to make it if I do end up making one. And last but not least at all, well, it's not last, it's actually just the last category, I suppose. I've got this box of Bling. So I've got some jewellery and other interesting bits and pieces. So this one, how do I get that off? There we go. It's a little jar of power shell pieces. I thought they are so beautiful, and they only wanted $1 for the whole lot, so I thought I'll splurge on that. I can think of lots of uses for that. There's a few trims that I found. This lovely pearl trim, there's not very much of it, but there's quite a few pearls on that, so it's just one that stitches on. And this woven trim, I really like that. It's a bit Aztec looking, and there's quite a bit of that. You can tell that that's the back of it, but I think you could use either side depending on what your project was. This little bag of pet treats. Thankfully it's, I'm just hoping it was a clean bag. I'm sure it was. So mostly just rickrack. Some of it's quite discoloured, a few different sizes. I like the pink, but mainly I liked this one. It's pink and white. So I thought that was a little bit different to the rickrack you normally find. A little bit of bias binding and red and white twine, and a couple of buckles as well. So I thought I'd get some use out of that. This was a good bag. There's quite a few things in here that I liked. This trim, it's a little bit stretchy, but I don't think it's actually meant to be an elastic trim, but it is quite pretty floral. I love this. There's only four little diamonds, but it's so lovely and sheer, and I thought that was really unusual. And a whole bunch of these little flowers that have been cut off. That might have been a string of them or something at one point. They've just been cut apart, but there's quite a few of those there. Quite happy to be able to use those. There's some beads. They look like just timber beads with a pattern on them, but they were pretty cheap, so I thought they were worth a go. This is a little bag of buttons. I had opened it, but I can't find the opening now. Oh, there it is. Oops, there goes one. So they're a nice peachy colour. They're only plastic, but I thought they were cute. And these are whoppers as a contrast. I found a couple of these style of buckles which I thought could go on a junk journal cover. I like the tortoiseshell look. And a bag of random beads, obviously from some broken jewellery. There's some thread in there too, obviously it's a broken necklace or something as part of it. And the rest of it is actually jewellery that I've bought for either junk journaling or to wear. Some of them are clearly one or the other. This one I like the colour of the beads. They've got sort of almost a rose tint to them, so I thought they were an interesting colour. This is a stretchy bracelet with some translucent stones in it. I thought I might wear that. If I don't end up wearing it, I can break it apart and use it in journals. This one is already almost broken apart, but each of these little sections could be a good decorative piece on maybe the spine of a journal or the cover of a journal. There's 6 of those on the bracelet, so that's a good one. Some pink beads, so pearly beads, crystal. I think they're just plastic, so a bit of a combination of things there. This one has some lovely decorative pieces as well as the nice, it's an interesting sort of bronzy coloured pearl. This one just has a few different kind of crystal beads, and it has an interesting clasp as well. I thought that was quite nice. This one I bought for the beads because they're a lovely blue, and there's a lot of them. I can't see myself wearing that as a as a necklace. But this one, the beads on this are lovely. They're very heavy. They're very substantial, and they're a lovely colour. Real sort of rose pink, dark rose pink. So possibly I could wear those ones. We'll see. So that's my stash of goodies from... No, I forgot actually. I just remembered something else that I need to add to that. I'll just pile these up and get them out of the way so that I can show. This wasn't from an op shop, it was actually a listing on Facebook Marketplace. So, but I think that counts when you're doing an op shop haul. Let me just grab the bag. So this lady was selling saris. They're new saris. They're not old or second-hand ones, but how could I possibly turn these down? She was asking, depending on the sari, she was asking $15 to $20 for each of them, and there's 6 meters of fabric in each one, so I certainly took her up on that. So each one of them has a panel with the really decorative embroidered silk, and then there is, oh, is that part of, oh no, this one, sorry, this one's not a sari, this one's just a wrap. So that's all that decorative colour. So that's a smaller one, but the saris themselves have, oh, this one's a beautiful, really deep reddish maroon colour. So most of it is the more subtle pattern, but then each one has a panel of this really amazing embroidered gold or silver, depending on the colours. They're just absolutely stunning. They also have these lovely borders as well. So that was one of the ones I got. This is my favourite. It's a really soft silvery colour, silvery gold. It's not even gold, it's just silver. But it's not a gaudy colour, it's a really soft, subtle colour. And I just loved this one. Where's the, I'll just try and open it up so you can see the, oh, there we go. So it's just a beautiful colour. Loved that one. And this one is a sort of a pale pinky colour, but it's so pink threads this way, black this way, so the weft and the warp are different colours, but it gives a really interesting effect. And the gold embroidery is in this lovely soft gold, and this is the decorative panel. So how beautiful are they? Of course, I don't really know what I'm going to use them for because they're so fancy. Maybe if I ever go to a ball or something, I can make myself a gown. But yeah, very stunning fabrics. So I had a really good time when I was on the Sunshine Coast. I got some really good goodies. So that is my haul for today. I'm just in the process of unpacking a lot of boxes of craft things and all of my old boxes of vintage goodies and that sort of thing, because we've just moved into a house where I finally have a craft room again. So stay tuned, because I'm going to be filming the great unboxing, as I'm calling it. So hopefully that will be interesting to some of you as well. So I hope you enjoyed sharing with me what I found on the Sunshine Coast. If you're ever there, go and have a look around. There's a lot of really good op shops there. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.